This is Principles of Passion. Principles of Passion. Chris Thomas.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I followed my passion.
I have a dream.
And Dominic Semino.
You better come to work.
This is it.
Perfection.
Oh, it's about to happen. With special guest, Adonis Moore, IT support analyst.
Just keep going. Find that thing you love. If you can find that thing that really gives you joy, that'll be it.
This is your lane. These are the people you should meet. Now, I'm not saying you can have different passions and different priorities, but your vision gotta stay in your lane.
Are you ready?
It's Principles of Passion.
Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
Yes. Thank you for your patience. It's been a day, a week. I didn't even get to chat with these guys yet about how their week went. This is Principles of Passion. As always, thank you, Ernie, for your time, your energy with everything we do, man. We appreciate it. Don't stress today. Don't stress. It was one of them days, bro, for all of us. Yep. But we're here. We're live. Got my man Adonis, who, man, inspires me more and more the more I hear about him. So we'll definitely get into that. Adonis, thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me here as well, man.
And then, as always, the humble and philosophical, genius-oriented
How are you,
Dominic
everyone?
Semino.
Always a pleasure.
And for those of you who can't see in the background, we got Anna chilling and Kush. We appreciate y'all. You're always welcome to peek around, show a little face. We're good with that. We appreciate their help. They're doing a lot of background stuff that hasn't come to fruition yet, but that I finally have an operations manager to help get this brain of mine on paper a little bit. And so we're excited for where that's going to go. As always, on Principles of Passion, we're trying to talk about overcoming adversity as you follow your passion, right? A lot of people are trying to find their passion. They're trying to define it. And then obviously trying to take it that ultimate level and follow it. So Adonis is a IT support analyst, but his title is what? What is it called? ECU?
EUC.
EUC administrator. So you could talk wherever you want, just so you know, look in wherever you want.
So my title is EUC administrator. I work for a Fortune 500 company at Paylocity. Where basically, I'm just troubleshooting computers, doing data transfers and things like that, helping people connect to VPNs and other, as you could say like that.
Awesome. And again, today's show is about support system. The premise is overcoming adversity. You need a good support system to get there, right? I think that there's a balance between people that are around you all the time and people that are your support system. Yeah, I know we had a good conversation the other day about that. One thing I want to point out to the first point of the premise and what we're trying to do of overcome adversity while we're following our passion. You do that by day, right? IT support. Tell the people what you do by night.
So I'm actually an entrepreneur. I own my own jewelry company, me and my friend, and basically it's called Creative Mind Jewels. And what Creative Mind Jewels is, it's not just a jewelry company, but it's a mindset, the way you think. Creative Mind Jewels, So thinking outside the box, no matter if you inspire someone, that's all falls under our our organization and our company, and we create things from pendants, we create rings, we create anything you can think of, we bring it to life, for people, and give them that affordable price that they need, from a jeweler.
And so, people, he's being modest, okay? This man is a diamond jeweler, okay? He's a diamond jeweler. You need a wedding ring, okay? You need anything cut, you need an engagement ring. He's a diamond jeweler, okay? He makes any kind of jewelry. That's what's up, bro. A diamond jeweler. And so, again, if you need, you're going to get engaged anytime soon. I'm not. Girl, you're beautiful, though. You're pretty. Creative Minds Jewels.com. Creative Minds, M-I-N-D-S, Jewels, Jewels.com is where they can find more details about you. And it's great to start off and be an entrepreneur, right, and do something. You didn't do that without a support system. And even in your jewelry company, you're part of a bigger support system,
Yes.
right? Even though you're Creative Minds, that's a bigger support system. So I guess tell me a little bit about as it relates to kind of IT and how you got into that, and then how you kind of leaned into this jewelry space a little bit.
So through IT, it first started with I found a program by the name of IC Stars, which is any inner city computer stars.
Okay.
And you know, how did I find the places? I first lost a job. I was being a busboy, you know, at first, you know, going around like cleaning up at restaurants, and then I lost the job. I got laid off, and then I decided to look online for a company called IC Stars. And when I found IC Stars, I came by downtown, and they said, "Hey, we teach technology, leadership, and entrepreneurship. You know, we help people go into entrepreneurship, leadership skills, things of that nature." And I thought it was a scam at first. I'm not gonna lie, but then I gave it a try, and people said, "Hey, just give it a try." People don't come from a normal background in IT here. We can teach you. We can teach you everything you need to know. We can teach you the leadership skills. All you have to be is driven. You gotta have that passion in that fight, and that's how I found, you know, going into IT. That's how I stumbled upon it.
And were you doing the jewelry prior to that?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
So I recently got into jewelry like 2 years ago.
Okay.
With a friend of mine. He told me about a little bit about it, what he was doing, and he kind of like told me like, "Hey man, it's something I think you'll be a good partner."
Right.
And when I found it, he introduced me to this guy, Mr. Martinez, that was from Mexico.
Okay.
The guy told me, "Hey, I think you guys are a very passionate young man. I think you need to go into jewelry because you guys are creative."
Okay.
And when we heard him say creative, I thought about that name, Creative Mind Jewels.
Okay. Okay.
And that's how I came into it about.
Okay. And you've just been coming to fruition with it, huh?
Yes, yes.
And what do you think some of your longer term plans are with that business?
I hope to eventually open up a store in Chicago. You know, give people better pricing on jewelry than they normally get on it.
Okay.
And then also, you know, help other kids go into entrepreneurship. You know, people of the youth, whether it's jewelry, whether it's filming, whether it's radio station, anything of that nature.
Art, anything, yeah.
Art, anything like that.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I love that sense of just wanting to give back with what you found. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people they kind of lose sight of that as you start to grow up and grow into different organizations. I think, and I shouldn't say everybody. I know I felt myself at some point becoming a little bit more selfish and trying to figure out how do I balance that selfishness, like and what I give to the table with wanting to give back and help. And so I'm gonna lean on Dom for this one a little bit. How do you balance, like for folks that are coming up with no support system, or people that have done them kind of bogus throughout their life, and they're trying to maneuver into the job force, but they're also trying to maybe get a job they may not like that much, but stay true to what they really like, and find a support system that kind of, like, what advice would you give to someone like that, Dom?
Okay, so you started it with no support system, right? And they're looking for a support system. I would say, I'd say that's just wasting time at that point. Like, if they don't have the support system, you're just wasting extra energy that you could be using to balance both sides of that, like what you really like and a job you might not like as much, just to balance that. So I'd say in that aspect, you have to act as your own support system. And sometimes it gets hard. I've been there multiple times, believe me. And sometimes you want to reach out, but you know like all the answers ahead of time, because you already know what's going to be said. It's like all repetitive after a while, and it's like you have to lean on yourself and really see what you want, which way you want to go, how you want to follow yourself.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think, like he said, it starts with yourself first. You know, if you can't support yourself, nobody else is going to support you. So it all starts from inner. You know what I mean? Because just me being wanting to prove people, try to prove like, hey, like I want to be what you want me to be and stuff like that. I started to think to myself, look, I gotta do this for me.
Right. Absolutely. So there's and I appreciate both of you. Thank you. I think that's it's a tough topic to talk about. Asking for help, right? When you need it, you know. I think to really, because there's Google, there's everything. There's people but who's the right people to ask? Where's the right resource to go to? And how do you ask someone something without sounding like dumb about asking it, right? And not that they say there's no dumb. To me, a dumb question is one that you could Google right now and get the answer to, but you decide to ask me. Okay, that's a dumb question. Figure it out. All right. So you're not being dumb. The way you're thinking is dumb because there's resources for you right in front of you to use that you're not using. And so I try and tell people, use your phone as a tool, but also look around you, right? You got resources right in front of you to answer questions, right? And that's your base of your support system for you. There's this article by Leslie Martinich. It's called Gaining Support for Your Life. And she kind of talks about like why gaining support is important, whether it be for yourself or if you're trying to go and sell someone on a product or your idea. And so I guess I would ask you, why do you think that kind of selling yourself, let alone selling other people, has helped you or is important in a business and a personal relationship?
You said selling yourself?
Yeah, it's selling yourself, so to speak. And selling yourself on you, but being able to sell yourself to other people too.
I feel like because selling yourself, like we are our own brand, we are a walking brand, things like that. So when you sell yourself to other people like that, you just want to present yourself the right way. That's what I feel like. But it just all starts with just you want to be that presentable person.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What do you think?
In that aspect, I'd say going back to the first question you asked us, it's like you said, you have to believe in yourself. You have to be able to support yourself, and then after that, getting that support, it boosts you. It kind of gives you that encouragement to keep going, and then you kind of have something for those rough days where you're like, oh, I don't know, but you have that support that's like, they're not counting on me, so to say, but they're there for me. So it's like I'm not just letting myself down. I'm letting them down too, so it kind of is like motivation as well.
Yeah. Change is very hard, okay? And anytime that you're trying to go through something that's, I think is difficult and that you haven't gone through before, I think that you can always bank on yourself, but the more people you have around you to lean on, to say, hey, good job, keep it up, you're doing the right thing. To me, it makes a world of difference. I think one person that's helped me, and I hope you're tuning in, Kim, but Kim Marzano, it's funny, she slows me down, but she motivates me, right? Because my mind, she's like, Chris, that's awesome. Hey, let's slow it down a little. Let's try and do it this way. And then let's run and sprint. But we're sprinting now, which is an amazing feeling. We're still gonna have to slow down a little bit, but I think today, all right, Aaron Rodgers tribute. No, we started our first class today, right? And when you talk about supporting people, I had 11 people in a tight-knit room. They went through orientation. They grinded it out from 10 to 5. And our goal as a staffing firm is to offer them the support. You know what I mean? The support that, I don't know, I had it, right? So I'm very lucky. I'm blessed. A lot of people don't have it, right? A lot of people going through BS, right? Whether it be because they brought it on themselves or because their situation brought it on. Whatever, at the end of the day, to this point of why gaining support is important, I can give them as much support as I want, right? But until you dig deep and know who you're supporting first, right? And what that vision is and how you map that out, I can't really do anything for you. Everything I'm doing is wasting your time, right? But the second you for a split second say, hey, yo, all right, this is what I know I want to get. This is going to be a tool for me. Cool. Here, I'm ready to do well. I'm ready to do good. That's when a support system is going to be on your side, but you got to be on your side first. You got to be all about what you're trying to do first, right? And don't try and go sell other people on what you got to do. Do it a little first, and then ask people's opinion, right? You don't got to say, hey, get on board. Ask their opinion. People are going to tell you whether they like it or not. You know, I heard a lot of people say a lot of things about the show. Trust me, this is just the beginning of our show. And the show is just the beginning, okay? And so I feel like you got to look at, too, the big picture, right? And why you're gaining support. What's the reasoning behind it? And I think that will help you figure out, like, okay, it's for me first, or it's for my kids first, or it's to help this many people first. And then you start to sell a little bit, you know what I mean? At least that's what I'm learning in my short-lived time, you know what I mean? So, anybody want to add anything? No? How do you gain support, right? So we got the why, it's important. Kush, Anna, and you want to jump in? How? No. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for manning the show.
No. Oh, can I speak?
Yeah.
Can you just repeat
How to? So the first one, why gain support is crucial. You don't gotta. I hope everyone can hear me. If you can't, comment in, let us know. We'll speak louder. How do you gain support?
I feel like you gain support when like someone realizes like you're stuck in a situation, or like the way I say it to like other people is like, you know, like you're in a hole, but like instead of like getting out, like you're just digging in that hole. So like it lets other people know like based on how you are, your emotions. Like I feel like when it comes to friends and family, you can tell right away like what's happening. But when you see a random person, like the least thing you can do is like, you know, smile. I mean, obviously they probably won't tell you like more in detail like what their actual problem is because you're a stranger to them. Right. But like for like your family and friends, like you need to like step in. Like you can tell like the way they act, the way they talk. I mean, most of the times like it's social media, you know, like Twitter, Facebook, like their status, like what they tweet. Because normally what they tweet or like put on Facebook is like the way they're reacting, or if they just saw something like, oh, I mean, like let's say they're having a good time in life right now, right? They'd be like, oh, I just had like a great time. Yeah. And let's say they're having something bad, like they'll put like music lyrics on. So like that could be a key too, is to like letting people know like you're not, you need like help and support.
So what that can, and I like those points. I think what you're trying to say is, in a sense, you can sell people by your positive influences.
Exactly.
And the impacts that you make, whether it be on social media, whether it be in common basic interactions with people. And it's funny, I was telling the students this today. Smile. Some of y'all came in here looking so like me mugging people. Yeah. Like I get it, and here's why. And I said this to them. You can't go in some of your neighborhoods and walk around smiling, right? You actually have to look tougher. Because if you don't, people may single you out for whatever reason or another. So I have to be conscious of that in terms of where people are living, where they're coming from, right? Everyone's mean face doesn't mean they're trying to be mean to you, right? Everyone's bad attitude today doesn't mean they're a bad attitude for life. But I think that what you try and look at as you go and understand people, right? Because you can't get support from someone if you don't understand them and what they're going through, where they're coming from, and where they're trying to go. And so I think, to your point, look at people. Your family, you know a little better, but even then, you still don't know sometimes, right? And you got to dig in, and even in those bad times, you still got to be their support.
Exactly.
Right? Because that's what you do for family. Now, again, family isn't always blood.
Exactly.
Right? And you and I talked about this a lot, so let's dig into this a little bit. I think I have some good friends. I have some great friends, actually. And they are my supporters. I have some people that I know, that I may hang out with. I don't know if I would call them my great friends, and I definitely wouldn't call them my supporters, but I know them and I hang out with them, right? To me, a supporter is like a confidant, right? Someone that you trust in, that you could tell anything and they got your back. It's not someone that you tell something sometimes and then they use that information to throw against you, right? And use against you when it suits them and serves them, right? They're going to use that information to help you every single time, right? The times that you even have to question they're not trying to help you are the times that you might want to question yourself, right? Those are true supporters. And so I lean on you guys a little bit. Where does that balance kind of come between, hey, I know you're gonna lift me up, or hey, you're saying something to bring me down, and like how do you separate that, right? With people that even you may be living with right now, like how do you separate that? Dom, I mean, I'll let Dom, and then unless Don, you got something?
How do you separate that, you said? Like between the two? Like to know they're truly your friends?
Yeah.
I think just
supporters. Because I even have some people that are my friends and I don't know if they're my supporters yet. So like how do you separate those levels? Like people you hang out with, supporters, friends.
I think probably just I don't really know. It's
That's
like
all right, bro. And these are
You want to tag me in, bro?
I struggle. I know.
Tag-
I do.
tag-
Tag in.
I'll go ahead,
And so I was
I'll
trying
go
to give you a pause to like, because I'm ready to hear this
Oh
one. So
man, well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah, yeah.
My great friends are my supporters, and I am theirs as well. And the way I break it down is, I mean, it's like I have my family, which are my friends, and my blood, and then it's like I have acquaintances. That's just how I break the two up. And to me, it's like I'm very introverted. I enjoy like providing support. I enjoy giving people positive energy. But me as a whole, I'm very introverted, and it takes a lot for me to come out. So if I have a trust in you, it's like more of I can kind of feel it almost. So like the way I balance it out is just I have my people, and other than that,
Let me ask you this. You said the two, acquaintances and friends and family. That doesn't have to be blood, right? Are all of your friends and family your supporters?
no.
Okay. So there is another level,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't mean that friends and family can't be supporters. It doesn't mean that not confidants, what'd you call it? The bottom layer.
Acquaintances?
You didn't
People
want
you
my
associate
opinion.
with,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't mean they can't be your supporters. I think for me, where the biggest challenge has been, and we even talked about this right before the show, has been knowing who's going to ride or die with you, right? Like when you're going through the thick and thin of the grind, and you're just at it, and you're not even there yet, and it's not even a figment of anyone else's imagination. It's still a figment of your imagination. To me, your supporters are going to be the people that are going to help you get there. They're not going to say anything bad about it, and if it is, it's going to be not criticism, constructive, meaning they're not going to tell you what you're doing wrong. They're going to tell you how you can do it different or better. Here's what I would do, or here's who I would lean on for this advice. They're not just going to come at you and give you criticism with nothing else, right? And so I feel like for me, Mom, if you're listening, my mom has always been my number one supporter. My dad has always been my number one supporter. My other dad, my stepdad, always been my number one supporter. My brothers and sisters, always been my number one supporters. I got some friends out there, my boy Kirby, but like I don't know if I have a close group of people. We got some things moving. I think where we left off, we were talking about how to gain support, right? And one of the ones that we were discussing was the change piece. Like, how do you represent change in the person you're looking to support from? Sometimes that's you. You're looking to support from yourself. So how do you represent change to yourself?
it starts with your habits.
Habits.
So for example, if I wanted to, lose weight, or if I wanted to be a bodybuilder, it would start with the way I probably dieted, things like that, or the way I, got up early, worked out, did different workout routines. That's the same thing with change. Change is like a habit. It's in your daily routines, whether you want to get up, study early in the morning, or things like that to pass the test.
Yeah.
You're changing up your habits.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's your,
Yeah.
anything to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'd say a part of it's just a mind thing. You just gotta motivate your mind and tell yourself that you're gonna do this regardless. And you want that change, you're gonna get it, because you can have all these ideas, of wanting to start something, get out of bed, hit the gym and stuff. But if your mind's not there, then it's like you're not gonna be motivated.
Yeah.
So you kind of need both.
Yeah, I think it's being committed to that change and setting forth daily habits. You always say it, incremental steps, right? Taking off little chunks, right? 5% a day. You don't have to do anything grand. You don't have to be 100% today, but if you take off 5% every single day, you're gonna get there, right? And so I think when it comes to trying to do that with yourself, you have to set goals and you have to do them daily, right? If you fall off one day, do it the next day. If you fall off 2 days, do it 2 days harder the next 2 days. Balance it out. We don't always all do the right thing all the time. But we try to, right? And when we do and it may not be the wrong thing, but we choose the lesser of two rights. Sometimes it's situational, sometimes it's laziness. Right? Sometimes you just didn't want to choose it. Right? You ate the ice cream when you could have ate the non-dairy, fat-free. Right? It tasted better at that moment. You did it, right? But you worked out an extra hour or extra 30 minutes. You balanced it. You didn't just do it and go hard. You know what I mean? And so I think that's important when you think about that change. Which is a good segue to the next one: goals. Right? What are the person's goals and objectives? Do you know what I mean? I think that where I see a lot of people struggle, it was an honor to sit with some people in the class today that were struggling but knew what they wanted, right? They're struggling through adversity but know what their passion is, right? But there's that middle part, right? You're struggling, you're not struggling, right? And you start to find that passion for real, you start to define it, then you start to follow it, right? And so I think the difficult part is in the middle there, right? With those goals and what comes up, right? As you're setting those goals. And to the next point, there's fears that set in, what would you say while you were trying to start the jewelry company? What were some of your fears at that point?
I feel like the biggest thing that my fear was approval. Trying to benefit other people, trying to say like, hey, like if I start this, would I lose any friends? Things like that. I was too busy trying to please everyone, but myself.
Why do you think you would lose friends? Like, what was making you think that?
I just felt like didn't want nobody to think I was better,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Didn't want wanted support from them. Like I was seeking for support.
Right.
Like say this is my friend. I thought he was my friend. I could trust him.
Right.
Things like that. I was seeking for support, and felt like what happened if I failed? If I fell short. Things like that. So that's what the things that was lingering in my mind, and was one of my 3 biggest fear factors.
What do you like, that fear of failure? I always want to know this with people. If it's what you're passionate about, can you ever fail at it?
I don't think so.
If you're not gonna let anything stop you from doing it,
No, can't.
right? I think a lot of people fall short of what they're truly passionate about, right? And so I think the hard part is starting to define what that really is. Whether it be professionally, personally, what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate, but figuring all that out while you're trying to create that definition of passion for yourself. And it's a struggle. I think it's a struggle going and busting your butt doing something you don't really want to do what you know you really want to do. I think it's a struggle trying to dig deep and know what you're really good at and where you fucked up in life. Excuse my language, Mom, love you. Where you messed up in life and being okay with that mess up because you're doing better, right? When you're not doing better, it's really hard to get past bad stuff in the past. But if you're committed to truly doing better, and not just better till next week or till the next hurdle you got to cross. It's better even after that. It's climbing over that and saying, man, I could climb over unlimited amount of hurdles, because that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I want to be in life. That's what I want to do. You want to be a rapper? Go do it. You willing to climb through shit to do it? Right? You willing to go clean dead carcass? Right? At a meat packaging company? And smell dead carcass and burning carcass and walk through blood? Are you willing to do that to go be a rapper and be an artist? I don't know. You gotta define it for yourself. You know what I mean? And again, part of that though is overcoming the fear. It's hard to do that if you don't know what this is, what that vision is, what those goals are, because that fear is gonna eat at you. You know what I mean? Communication preference. Let me ask you all about that. This is a tough one because I know that sometimes I come off like too much because I'm very excited all the time. How do you communicate effectively to yourself and to others to gain support? Like for you, and we're all different here. Like for you, what is that?
How do I communicate to myself?
To yourself, yeah, starting. Let's start there. Like, what's the best way for you to communicate with you?
Like, the best way to communicate to myself is kind of like watching motivational videos and kind of like uplifting myself, you know, like telling myself I can do it, you know, reading certain books, things like that, books of people who had the same experience I had in life, and also supporting other people. That's how I communicate all stuff. Like when you support other people, I feel like it's going to come back to you. You know what I mean? You're going to feel better about yourself because you're going to say, I did that. You know, I did that. I helped that person.
Yeah.
So now that's making myself feel better. And, you know, they said something good about me. They said, hey, thank you for doing that. You're a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that's like, you know, making me feel better as a person.
Yeah,
you know?
That's great. That's great. What about you, Dom?
I meditate. That's how I kind of ground myself. Just get right with myself. I just meditate. I like to reflect a lot. Reflecting helps the growth too. It shows you what you can do better, what you can work on. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. I love it. And what about you two? I'll let you two dive in. You don't have to. Feel free.
I meditate too. I focus a lot on my breathing, making sure that I'm present in the moment and just self-reflect.
That's huge. In the moment. That's the toughest part for me too, for sure. What about you, Kush? Anything?
It's like a lot of like giving back. Like I feel like making others happy is like makes me happy. So like you're basically giving that positive energy to yourself. Like you're not thinking negative when you're doing something positive to see someone. So like when you're making someone like feel happy and like make them like lift them up on their feet, like you're just gonna see like you just lift your own like your own head up and your own mindset up. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate that, man. I like that. I think and I try and emulate this in even the relationships that I have with other people. I try and be no bullshit, right? There's a guy named Ray Dalio who's I think he's the founder of Bridgewater Associates, and they're a hedge fund out in Connecticut, I want to say. And there's this coin terminology that they use for their organization to basically summarize how they handle all business. And it's called being radically transparent. And since I heard that 4 years ago, I've taken a liking to it, and I've kind of transformed the way that I act, the way that I am with people, and just the way I try and be with myself. I try and a lot of people think, if you don't know me, you think this guy is on something. He's full of shit. He's too happy. This is how I fucking really am. I'm always like this, and I try and give my full self to people, but I also try and understand people, and like we're all going through stuff. Do you know what I mean? I think we all have to be better supporters of ourselves, but of others around, right? And not like trying to look at that in ways of color or religion, but just in like walking down the street, like who your neighbors are, like just support people. You know what I mean? And part of that supporting though is opening up a conversation with them, just talking with people. What do you do? Why do you like that? Well, how'd you get into that? You know what I mean? Just asking basic questions about life to people that you otherwise wouldn't have done. And I think that goes a long way. I think it's something I'm going to have to get better with. I didn't tell you guys, I got honored to be co-president of my son's PTO, right? And so when it comes to supporting again, like I get to give back, I get to help my son, and I get to like look at things from a different lens, from an equity lens within schools, right? I'm looking at it with my job. I'm trying to look at it with this company and us throwing these festivals, but like getting the opportunity to do it again there and like fulfill a need for an organization and a community, I want to support them. To me, that's support. And so I think it goes a long way in terms of helping others. It'll come back, and you shouldn't do it to get something back, but you should do it because you like to help other people. By nature of that alone, you're gonna get life back. I'll pause there and just kind of see if y'all want to add anything. Any comments, anything at all.
Well, I think you basically hit it on the nail. You basically covered it up. Like, you shouldn't do things just because it's going to benefit you or you're looking to get something out of it. You should do it because it's the right thing. You know what I mean? And you will want somebody to do it for your family as well. You know, if they be going through tough times and things like that.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to touch back on the setting goals things, and if you fall short about, you know, you might not be as passionate about it. It's like sometimes the way I see it is sometimes you fall short, but you don't give up on that passion. It's more of the expectations that let you down. So sometimes you don't need to change your goal or your plan. You just need to rearrange how you go about it or a different level of expectation, as opposed to setting a goal and expecting it to turn out that way, because life is life and life happens.
Yeah, man. That's to your point, nail on the head, right? First of all, if you're trying something new and it's your first time and you think you're gonna be successful at it completely the first time, I don't know what bubble you've been living in, but give me some of that, man. I'm just saying. I'm being honest. That's true. Real talk. If you can't expect to fail at something when you try it and expect to fail numerous times, you will never be successful at anything. We can't live in this world anymore and Gary Vee says it, like this world of everyone gets a trophy. Oh, everyone's a winner. Bro, you kind of suck. Okay, I was going to say something about my son's t-ball team, but they are all great kids and they're all great players. In life, everyone does not get a trophy. You don't. There's no trophy for everyone getting first place, right? There's levels. And again, that's not to take away from everyone being an individual and growing at your own level. There's sports. There's money. There's business, which makes money. And I'm separating buckets because people do things for a reason to motivate them. If you play sports, you're trying to be the best. You're trying to be the best. If you're trying to make money, you may not be trying to make the most amount of money, but you're trying to make the most amount of money with the least amount of effort. Which means you gotta be the best at something to work at it the least to make the most amount of money. If you're at work and you're trying to get better and progress and be the best worker there and move the ranks, you gotta go through some stuff, right? And so I say all that to say it's the long game, right? It's not the short game. You gotta. There's no such thing as second place in a game where everyone's trying to win. You can't try and go for second place. You have to try and go for first every time. And your supporters are going to be the ones that see you going for first, see you grinding, right? See you sacrificing all of this to get to this. And so I'll leave y'all with that. Like, that's my biggest takeaway from this, and just hearing Adonis speak, and obviously hearing some great words from Dom, is you got to trust in the people that are on your side. You got to want to help. You got to want to give back, right? Because it's not all about you. There's a bigger plan in this world for all of us, right? There's a bigger scheme to this world. And if you don't learn how to fit into that in some way, it's going to be difficult for you to become successful in your own head. And so as we all try and, I think, grind for our passion of jewelry, right, and being the best, and grind for being the best photographer, artist, and security expert, being the best PM, being the best marketing guru, and for me, just being the best mentor and coach that I can be for myself, my family, my community. I implore all of you to ensure that you have a good support system. If you don't, let's talk about it, and we can define how we can make that better for you. And for anyone tuning in, haters are going to be haters. And even if you're living with someone, if they're your girlfriend, your mom, your sister, your brother, if they're telling you you can't do something, I would ask yourself first, are you telling yourself you can't do it, right? Because you can, if you tell yourself you can't do something, you're probably not going to do it. If you tell yourself you can, you're probably going to do it. After that, then look for the support system. Okay? After that, sell yourself first, and then look for people that are willing to ride with you, that are going to be there for you, and that are not just going to tell you when you're doing good, but also tell you when you're doing bad and how to do it better and different. So I'll leave everyone with that. Principles of Passion, episode 15. Thanks for the technical difficulties. We love y'all. See you next week. Holla.
Have a good night.